and welcome to Roadside Notes. I'm Christopher, the Route 66 chaplain, and these are the readings from the Faith in Good Courage journal found at faithgoodcourage.com. These are stories from and for the road, a little grace for the miles ahead, and reminders that hope still travels with us. This journal, Someday Finally Showed Up, is from my entry on July 30th, 2026. Someday finally showed up, and it looked exactly like a corner booth at Mr. D's 66 Diner in Kingman, Arizona. Both had a burger and a root beer float. Both had the pie. They'd been married 49 years and 11 months, and they were somewhere in the middle of the greatest road trip of their lives. I noticed them the way you notice people who are completely at ease with each other. No phones on the table, no awkward silence to fill. Just two people who were long since run out of things to prove and were simply enjoying where they were. Late 60s maybe, sharp eyes, laughing at something before I even sat down. They weren't vague about everything. They were clear about the important parts as we talked. 50 years in December. Kids grown and gone. A diagnosis somewhere in the recent past that neither one of them felt they need to name out loud over pie and coffee with a stranger. What they were clear about was this: something had shifted. The calendar looked different than it used to, and the list of things they were meant to do together had suddenly moved from someday to now. Route 66 was always on their list, had been since before they were married. He had driven pieces of it as a young man. She had always wanted to see the desert stretch in Arizona. Grand Canyon, Meteor Crater, Painted Desert, and because they both loved the song, they had to make it to the Standing on the Corner Park in Winslow. They had talked about it the way couples talk about things they're gonna do when there's time, and the time is right. And then one morning, the time was right, and they got in their car. This was no ordinary year for the road either. Route 66 turns 100 in 2026, and the centennial nudged them the rest of the way off the couch. If they were going to do it, this was their year to do it. The whole country was paying attention to this highway right now, and they wanted to be part of it. They weren't winging it. That was clear from about the first 2 minutes. She had a folder. An actual folder with printed confirmations and highlighted maps, and a note in the margin next to Kingman that said Mr. D's Burgers and Pie. They had done their homework, and they had done it together, and that folder was as much a love letter as anything written in 50 years. The plan was simple and perfect. Drive Route 66 from start to finish. Take their time, no rushing. A few hours a day, good stops, good food, good sleep, and end in California. Then board a ship in Los Angeles and cruise to Hawaii. Two things had always meant to be done together. Not one for him, not one for her. Both for both of them. That detail stopped me. In 25 plus years of doing weddings, I've sat with a lot of couples, and I know the difference between a marriage that runs on compromise and one that runs on genuine shared joy. These two weren't trading dreams. They were living the same one. Mr. D's has been feeding Route 66 travelers for a very long time. It sits right on Andy Devine Avenue in the heart of Kingman and has that kind of energy that only comes from a place that actually cares about the people who walk through the door. It was the right place for this particular day, the right booth, and the right pie. I asked them what took so long. She laughed first, said life took so long. Kids and work and mortgages and all the things that are worth doing, but have a way of filling up every available space until one day you look up and you realize the space has to be made on purpose. He nodded and added something I haven't stopped thinking about. He said they always assumed someday was somewhere out ahead of them, waiting patiently, plenty of time. And then something happened that made them understand that someday doesn't wait. You have to go and get it. They finished their coffee, picked up their folder, and headed back out to the parking lot and whatever miles were left between Kingman and the California coast. 50 years in December. Hawaiian Islands ahead. I sat with my coffee, just a little bit longer than I needed to. In my roadside reflection, someday finally showed up, and it didn't look the way they thought it would. It looked better. It looked like a folder with a highlighted map, and a corner booth with 50 years of knowing exactly who you wanted to be sitting across when the pie arrives. Whatever's on your list, whatever you've been meeting to do together or alone for the first time. Someday doesn't live out ahead of somewhere waiting patiently. It lives in the decision you make today to stop treating the life you want like something you'll get eventually. The road is 100 years old this year, and it's still out there, still waiting, still the same 2 lanes it always was. Go get your someday. It's closer than you think. Travel well, my friends. Have faith and good courage.